Welcome to another episode here with Queen City Reefs and more. We are a tad bit closer, not as fast as I would love to for it to have moved already, but completely understand it. This channel probably is not for everyone, but those that are here and continue to watch, continue to subscribe, I truly appreciate it. And thank you for coming along on my journey here with reefing. Alright, so behind me we have the Peninsula tank today, and so that's going to be our main point of discussion as stated on the title of this video anyways. I am trying something different today, and that is I am using a different camera. I am using a GoPro 9 that I've had stored for quite some time, and I figured that this is a bit easier for me to just pull it out, start recording, so on and so forth. And I wanted to test this to see what the quality will look like. I'm gonna put it out regardless whether the quality is great or not compared to the full frame camera that I have. But I did want to go ahead and check out to see the possibilities with this camera. You know, this camera is waterproof, so definitely is gonna be a camera that I will be able to put underwater, show you exactly what the corals look like underwater. If you are interested in that video, let's get this video to 200 likes. If you get this video to 200 likes, I will grab this camera, I will dunk it inside the Mega Matrix and show you what it looks like inside of the tank. All right, without further ado, let's move over to this tank. So right now you're gonna notice that the tank is cloudy, and I'm gonna go ahead and turn this camera around so we can talk about it. So right now you're going to notice that the water itself is cloudy. And that is because once every other week I do stir up the sand bed in order to get any of that algae that's building up in it and all the detritus and everything that builds up in it, stir it up and hopefully into the overflow that then goes into, as you all know, I installed a new ReefMat, so the hope is that it goes into the ReefMat, and so once it goes through the overflow, it will come down this pipe, which is then now connected to this line that then goes into the ReefMat. And as you can see here, it collects quite a bit. There's still quite a bit of fleece left, but let me tell you, on the first row here, I am at about 2 months of use. And that is with me having stirred the sand up already. Since then, this right now would be the 4th time, and when I do stir the sand up, you will hear this go off quite a bit because it's catching a lot of stuff in it and therefore it's causing it to roll up. And as you can see here, you'll see the water line right there, and so that water line, as the filter fleece roll clogs up, the water line there rises, will hit this sensor right here, and once it hits this sensor, it causes for the filter fleece roller to roll out clean fleece. It goes off quite often when I stir up the sand bed, and then it goes to its regular operation once it's all cleared up. But here is 2 months worth of detritus. And so earlier I mentioned that the only reason why I feel that there's a lot of detritus in here, which is not as much as you would typically see when running filter socks or floss, but the only reason I feel that there's a lot of it here is because there was a point where I was trying to adjust the knob here, and so there was a lot of water going through the emergency pipe, which I believe is what caused that, because it actually, right before that incident, there wasn't a lot of detritus on the sump area. So that is real quickly discussing the reason for why this water is cloudy. There is some cons that I can definitely discuss, make it a separate video of its own, but I can quickly say that I've had trouble connecting this to the Wi-Fi. So it's not connected to my Wi-Fi. I actually just did a direct connection to the app, where I guess it's Bluetooth, I'm not sure, but I kept getting it kept recognizing it, it kept finding it, and then once I was getting to the update part, it would freeze and then it would ask me to start over, and I went through that at least a dozen times to the point where I think it's called AP mode or something like that. that I decided to connect it through that way, and I was able to get it going after that. So aside from that, that pretty much means that it won't give me an update on when the roller is used up if I'm out of town. But honestly, common sense would tell me that if it's running this low as it is right now, that I should be changing it prior to leaving, or you know, if I'm not on vacation, that means I'm home every day. So honestly, it's not that hard to come in here knowing that it's this low and check it every other day or every 3 to 4 days. I'd rather open this sump up to look at the filter fleece roller and then just quickly close the door than having to actually change out socks or filter floss. All that being said, I am definitely satisfied with this ReefMat. I have not had the experience to use other ones, but I never really pulled the trigger on them because I would always hear cons like changing of the roll was very difficult, and yes, you would only do it every few weeks to months. But I'm the type of person that if it's going to be difficult to do, I might not end up doing it, right? So I always look for something that is easy to do and quickly to do. So in this case, I have not changed the roller, but installing it was a breeze, and I'm pretty sure that changing the roll will be a breeze. I'll definitely bring you along if you'd like. Aside from that, this is what it looks like here in between. All in all, I am very happy with this filter roller. I'm definitely excited. I'm very happy with the skimmer, not having to fiddle with it due to the different levels of water that I have in here. The reason that there is different levels of water is because this ATO reservoir is 9 gallons. And so normally this will last me a good 5 to 7 days. And in order to get a few more days out of it, I actually will dump a bit of fresh water into the sump here and raise the level of water in here to the point where it doesn't mess with salinity, because I have tested it, but it helps me make the fresh water in here last a few days longer. And the reason I've been doing that is because I've been wanting to see how much longer, and so far I'm at about a week and a half, which I like because I'm trying to test out how long can I make this last without having to refill it in case of either an emergency or having to travel, go on vacation, whatever the case is. What are my limits? Now, one other thing that I'm testing out right now is how long will it last now that I have evap covers on here. And I don't think I've mentioned this on any of my prior videos, but when I got the top lid for the Mega Matrix, they were able to finally rectify the issue of me not ever having received this evap cover. So this is what the evap covers look like right now, and it's definitely something that I'm going to be looking into to see how long can I go without filling up the auto top off with these on, because I do plan on taking a trip here soon, which will be most likely a 2-week trip, and I definitely don't want to have to worry about any of this. All right, now that we've checked out how cloudy this tank was, this is actually 3 hours later that it finally cleared up. And so it took a while. Yes, I had the MP40s at full blast to kind of get all that stuff continue to circulating until it made it through the overflow. But now it is clear. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn on the light, and then we'll get more into it. All right, so here is the tank with the lights on. You might be asking yourself, why did I not have the lights on to begin with? Well, as you can see, there's no coral in here. I mean, well, let me rephrase that. There is, but not any that really needs that much light. So the light was off, and it doesn't turn on until around 4 o'clock until 9 o'clock. So about 5 hours at very low intensity, just to have a preview with the light on then, and for the fish to have a little bit of light. But aside from that, there's no purpose of having the light on, 10 to 12 hours a day without any coral. As you can see, and most likely you're already asking yourself, here is the new aquascape. All right, let's be real. This is not permanent, but I had been debating it. And let me bring you across so you can see every angle of this. This honestly would be a very minimalist approach when it comes to the aquascape. And I can see the potential here. I mean, think about it. Just all torches, frog spawns, and hammers all on this rock itself. and then in some areas maybe some scullies and some meat corals, you know, but for the most part leave the sand bed as untouched as possible. But I do have that rock, and this tank has actually been this way for a few weeks now. And at first I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do it. I want to keep it this way. It seems like I can make something work here, make it look stunning. But then, like anything, and if there's one thing I recommend for y'all to do, is if you're able to set up, you know, a aquascape, put it in a tank and not glue it, not do anything permanent yet, and let it sit for a few weeks the way that I did. Eventually you'll learn whether it's something you love or not. And I can tell you that I'm not feeling it anymore. And I know for you that you're watching, I don't know how you feel about it, but I'm sure that if you feel positive about it, just, you know, give it a few weeks and then you start thinking, you know, I don't know. For me personally, I do want to add the other rock back, but I do plan on changing the scape a bit. The Arche is not going anywhere. I do like the Arche, you know, where it came like this, and that's the main reason why I even wanted a Peninsula. So that may come back. I just don't know if I'm going to place it exactly at the same height as it was before, further back, further front. Not 100% sure. The tree that was in here, the Carib Sea tree or whatever it's called, that I don't think is coming back. I am not sure I want to put that one back because I do want some sand space. And so we shall see. I mean, I am not trying to rush through this tank. As a matter of fact, I'm trying to take things slow and go from there. So this is where this tank is at when it comes to the scape and what I mainly wanted to talk about. Let me know if you have any questions about any of this, you know, so far, and I'll definitely make sure to either respond to you with another video or respond in the comments below. We interrupt this video real quick because throughout the whole video, maybe you'll notice too, I did not even mention why the tank looks the way that it does, why there's no rock in there. And so I figured that's actually important. The reason why you see that most of the rock is out is because of Aptasia. And so what I did was actually remove it, put it in a trash bin, and I flooded it with hot water from the sink. And I've left it in there for a week just to make sure, because if you know anything about Aptasia, they can be some survivors. So I'm hoping that did it. This rock is actually going to be next. It just didn't fit with it. So, and I didn't want to leave the tank without any rock at all either. While the other one dries out, I'll play with some aquascaping thoughts of what I have. And then while this one is dipped into fresh tap water, and then eventually just let it dry out and so on and so forth. And it's basically, this is a restart of this tank. There can be Aptasia within the overflow. And so I do actually plan on cleaning that out as well. What I won't be able to get to is all the plumbing. So what are the chances that Aptasia will come back? Likely. But my plan honestly is to get another copper band. If there were to be any Aptasia, they're going to be the ones to keep it in check. All right, back to the video. So here we are at the end of the video. It was a quick and short one. I wanted to just quickly show you what the Peninsula looked like. So far, I have not decided what to do with the scape. Now, the only reason why I keep thinking of not putting the Arche is because I am thinking of using that Arche and moving it over to the Mega Matrix so that there's an Arche on each side, which means I would be moving a lot of the rock work. And you know what? While I have you here, let me go ahead and show you that real quick. All right, so here's the Mega Matrix. These two are flats, and possibly this one right here. And these two flats over here are what I'm thinking of moving out. Initially, I was thinking moving this out so that you have this Arche, and you have that Arche, and then it kind of going down to just small rocks at the bottom where I would put all these LPS that I have around here, and making it a more open area, you know, for fish to swim in, with corals only at the bottom versus the top. My other thought was getting that Arche and putting it similar to this one, where it comes from the back corner to the front. So back corner to the front, and then still having all that space right there for LPS corals. My other thought was, I kind of want to remove these regardless, so keep that in mind. You let me know what you think. what would have been to move all these over to this side, and then removing this shelf rock that's right here, and possibly putting the other arc in a lower manner to come this way right here. As you can see, it reaches all the way to this side of the tank, all the way to, you know, towards about a third or so of the tank. And so I would assume that if I put another one, I would use some rock as a base rock so that the area over there is a bit lifted, or maybe it doesn't have to be. And sort of in the front, right by where it maybe started, where the anemones that have it come out over here, to have more surface area to put more SPS, and then move a lot of the LPS, maybe at least remove one of these to have some sand area for them there. But that's where that other arc would come into play, and then I would need a complete new scape for this tank, being that it would no longer be here anymore, right? So that is it. That is all I have for this video today. I truly appreciate you tuning in. I definitely appreciate you tuning in. If you are not subscribed already, you know the drill. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button,